Are you or someone you know looking to buy or sell a home? When you use a HomeGain Realtor to buy or sell a home, you can get $150. Visit HomeGain.com and click on the Promo 150 banner at the top of the page to get started. Compare HomeGain Realtors and choose your favorite. Complete your home purchase or sale transaction with a HomeGain Realtor, and HomeGain will pay you $150. Get started today by going to HomeGain.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Real Estate 360 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Sloper, joined today by my guest, Cammarosano, the General Manager of HomeGain. Reminder that if you ever have any questions, whether it's real estate, mortgage, credit, whatever your questions may be, if you're frustrated with the loan modification process and you're trying to figure out what your options are, that's a common problem that people are having right now, that their home is underwater, maybe their mortgage, interest rate adjusted upward because they were in a negative amortization arm, and now all of a sudden instead of paying $1,500, they're paying $2,000. That's, one of the biggest problems people are having right now is that they've been dealing with banks for 6 to 12 months trying to get a loan modification done, and at the end they get denied. So they're stuck now because most of the time they've been missing payments to try to get this loan modification. They can't come up with the money to bring their loan current. So what are the options there? Options, A, continue doing what you're doing, which is just not making payments and let the house go to foreclosure, or B, be proactive and try to, work with the lender to secure a short sale where basically you're able to sell your home and the lender agrees to basically let you sell it for less than the amount that you owe them, and they'll cover your real estate commissions and any other costs that are associated with that loan. Now, remember that you must have some sort of hardship in order to short sale. You can't, if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and just you don't want to make your payment anymore, that's not a good enough reason. However, if you're spending more money than you make every month, or you've lost a job, took a pay cut, went through a divorce, you had another child, and now you need more space, and the current home's not giving you enough space. Those are all legitimate hardships. I would suggest reaching out 877-245-2030. I'd be glad to look at your individual situation and figure out what's the best course of action to take. But rest assured that burying your head in the sand and just hoping that it's going to get better is not the smartest move. I want to jump into this week's Mortgage Minute, where I kind of give you a little bit of insight what's taking place in the mortgage world. This segment was brought to you by HomeGain. HomeGain is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting real estate questions answered. If you go to HomeGain.com today, you can see what I'm talking about. All you have to do is type in your home address, and you'll get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. It's a great way to monitor your home's value, and it's totally free. So check that out today at HomeGain.com. So, Louis, you and I have talked about interest rates and then moving up. Obviously, that's going to make, owning a home more expensive with interest rates rising. Well, an interesting statistic is that of all the mortgage originations last year, that 84% of all new loans were government-backed. 84%. That seems like that's a ridiculously high number.
Only topped by student loans, which are 100% back.
Right, but you consider 84%, and at the peak of the boom of the real estate market, it was only 50%, and now we're at 84%. That is a huge red flag for me. That's saying that we are in big trouble. We are in big trouble when we're dominated by government loans, and there's not any private money out there. And not only that,
out there, but the government is basically cornered the market.
Well, they've cornered the market, and not only that, with all the over-regulation, nobody wants to jump into the market. Right. Nobody wants to take the risk of getting their hands slapped, for not lending according to their qualified residential mortgage rule that has been implemented, and they don't want to lend at interest rates because the Fed is artificially tinkering with interest rates by buying up all the mortgage-backed securities, making interest rates extremely low. It's not worth the risk that's associated with that. And that more to the point of why all these hedge funds are out there just trying to buy up real estate to rent it out instead of lending the money. So to couple all this, FHA, which, as you know, is one of the largest lenders because they have more lenient underwriting standards, and were really created to help first-time home buyers because they offer a 3.5% down payment. Well, over the last couple of years, they've been raising their mortgage insurance premiums basically, once, twice a year. Well, now, as of June, they will now have to pay annual mortgage insurance premiums for the entire life of the loan. Okay? So what that means is that before, when you had these annual mortgage insurance premiums, which are currently, 1.25% of the loan amount, that's monthly that they pay. After they made that payment for 5 years, they made those mortgage insurance payments for 5 years, and then their loan to value was 78%. They could get rid of or cancel that mortgage insurance premium. Well, now FHA's come in and say, "Oh, no. Now you're going to pay this for the entire life of the loan. It doesn't go away at 78% in 5 years anymore." So that's going to really, really drive up the cost of home loans.
And Ryan, why do you think they're doing that?
Well, the reason why they're mandated basically by Congress to keep excess reserves. They're losing money.
Right.
I think they're losing money. I think more loans are being defaulted on, and I think that they need better underwriting standards. It's not necessarily their things are basically lend out to everybody, but they have huge default rates at this point in time. So they're going to continue lending to everybody, and now they're just going to charge higher insurance premiums.
Right. So they're doing something that the private sector market participant can't do is when you have a deficit and you're losing money, it would be nice if a store can just say, well, I'll just raise prices and make it up. And
yeah.
That's basically what they have to do now is they have to raise premiums and in combination with raising them, extend them out to the life of the loan.
Right. So that was the first piece that they're basically going to continue to keep the mortgage insurance premium for the life of the loan. But the second piece is they're increasing the annual premiums by another 10 basis points. So instead of 1.25%, it's going to be 1.35% annually. So not only are they hitting you for the whole life of the loan, then they're raising another 10 basis points. So the cost of your mortgage is going up every day. And for people out there right now that are like, oh my goodness, how is that going to affect my payment? Well, it depends on what your loan amount is, obviously, but it could be an increase of another $50, $75, $100 a month, and then you have to keep it for the life of the loan. So when is this going to take place? Like I said, it's going to be in June. It's going to be for basically any loans that are assigned case numbers on June the 3rd and after, and that's according to the mortgagee letter that HUD issued 2013-04. So if you're looking to lock in, an FHA loan before this time period, or this could be a contributing factor to you getting off the fence right now and starting to look for homes to try to, get a house under contract before this time, I would definitely recommend it because that's a huge thing, not being able to get rid of your mortgage insurance premium.
Now, can they extend your mortgage premium after you've already locked in your mortgage?
Okay, so it's basically the way FHA works is when they actually assign a case number, okay? There's a case number that FHA assigns. So typically that's going to happen once the loan is started, right? Once a loan goes into processing because they're going to have to set up a case number before an appraisal can be issued. So you would typically have to it really has nothing to do with the lock of the loan. It just has to do with being registered with HUD. So you would pretty much have to have a property under contract and start the loan process before that June 3rd date.
Right, but they can't, once you're locked in and you have your loan and you start paying it and you're paying your premiums and you're on that 5-year schedule, have they ever extended it for existing mortgages?
No. No, I mean, like, let's say that there's somebody that's already under, the current plan, and see, the rule is twofold. It's you must make it for a minimum of 5 years, but then you also have to be at a 78% loan to value before it would just fall off. So you'd still have to have an appraisal done to deem if you're at that level.
Well, some people must be continuing past 5 years because of the drop in the value of their homes, correct?
Of the negative equity, right. So the only other way that you can get around that, if you're as far as a value, is if you just pay down your mortgage to that 78% level. You know what I mean? Basically, you can if you started at $100,000, you pay it to $78,000, it automatically falls off.
Right, but they can't just extend it if your loan to value is where they want it to be.
Correct.
That's only going to happen with the newer ones in June if that passes. Is that passed or is that
Yeah, that's a done deal.
A done deal. Okay.
Done deal. Yep. So the cost of an FHA loan just went up again.
That's an incentive to. Have you figured out what that means over the course of a 30-year mortgage?
I haven't plugged in the numbers yet because I just pulled this off the press.
Right, that would be quite an incentive to get your loan approved and your house bought before.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, let's just say right now, let's just say on like a $200,000 loan, let's just call the mortgage insurance premium over $200 a month, right? And let's say that they were only going to have to pay that for 5 years, and now all of a sudden they're going to have to pay it for another 25 years. Right. I mean, the cost of that home loan just went up substantially. And, what it's going to do is it's probably going to start to steer more people away from FHA loans, but what's the alternative? The alternative, there's not much of an alternative out there. Conventional loan,
16% market to deal with, right? If FHA is 84% of the market,
right? I mean, and people need these low down payment loans. So FHA realizes that they can basically raise these premiums up as much as they want because people are going to have to take what's given to them. And if you're not, unless you're a veteran, because veterans obviously can get a VA loan where no down payment's required, but if you're not a veteran or you're not able to secure, Fannie Mae Home Path money, which is basically you're buying a foreclosure from Fannie Mae, they have special financing that only requires a 3% down payment. But the catch with that is that obviously you have to have certain debt-to-income ratios, and an appraisal is waived on those properties. Do you believe that, Louis?
Unbelievable.
So if you buy a Fannie Mae property and you use the Home Path financing, there's no appraisal needed. So technically, Fannie could actually, put a purchase price of $260, and the property really only be worth $250. So they're going to give you a loan on that $260,000 sales price that you have. They just automatically waive it. So there's programs like that are out there, but you have to completely fit the mold in order to get them. But outside of that, FHA is pretty much going to be your go-to. So just think about that. If you guys are on the fence right now, I would definitely start looking for houses ASAP if you're going to need an FHA loan.
One thing that would be very helpful to figure out is how much that increase in the FHA insurance premium is in terms of a move in the interest rate.
Yeah, and you know what I'll do for next week's show? I'll actually give a breakdown on a $200,000 loan so people can see the difference. We're coming up on a break, guys. When we come back, we're going to give you this week's credit tip of the week. Stay right there.